And we're
All
off.
right, so do we care about anything that's happened in the international break? Is there anything internationally that's important?
Thomas Tuchel, New England manager. Huge news.
Oh, I meant in terms of the games, but yeah,
Oh, no, yeah, yeah.
let's.
I mean, in terms of the games, like we lost to Greece.
But like, you
We
don't care, right?
and then it was interesting because it was the day after that Greek player died, George Baldock. He passed away the day before, and then they did. It was a nice little tribute to him. We played absolutely
Yeah.
England did. So credit to Greece.
I
Uh,
mean, international football in general, in my opinion, but like especially with friendlies, is really about who shows up and who cares. Like,
it's weird because there's no such thing as an international friendly anymore. This game technically counted because of the Nations League, but it's like, I don't even know
yeah,
where we are with it. Like I think Greece is still top, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the result was with Ireland. We might be top now. But yeah, nothing, no major things. Germany played the Netherlands, which is always nice, fun rivalry. They think the Germans won 1-0. Delict didn't really play. Xerxes got 15 minutes. So from a United perspective, not too fast. It was more annoying because Mainoo's now injured for England and United. Not because of England. I think he went into the international break with an injury. I guess he picked up with us. He
yeah.
hasn't. I'm hoping it's just dramatic, like little white lies, and he can actually play on Saturday. Agate got injured late on for Uruguay in the South American friendlies, Copa America ones, so that's fucking brilliant. Maguire got hurt, but I don't really care about him.
Yeah,
Uh,
the US played Paraguay. I didn't even like follow that game. I think we beat them.
who's we though? Now?
Yeah.
Is now that you're living in Paraguay, who's we? Is it Paraguay or is it the USA?
Oh wait, sorry, Panama. Oh, it's always the USA. I'm like I'm
Say,
not. Yeah.
uh,
US beat Panama 2-0. But like
okay.
I don't really care about that much because like we always perform in like those types of matches. Like World Cup qualifying, we're really good at. We're really good at the Gold Cup. Our issue is like the CONMEBOL was a big issue, obviously, where we didn't even get out of the group stage, and then the World Cup. So like I want to see the World Cup before I really start, judging Pochettino, but like, I am optimistic. But
I think
yeah,
with this instance now with Poch, I think the bigger thing is more just those patterns of play, style, performance, as opposed to like actual results. Like you're expected to win, but are you starting to see now? It's still early doors. Are you starting to see Pochettino's influence or style of play?
I
Look,
mean, the thing about Pac is that like he really like so American fans really hated Berhalter. Like we really like I know like Southgate gets all of the like the hate credit because England fans are just more vocal than American fans. But I can tell you, American fans hate Berhalter. He did this like really inexplicable thing where in um in the World Cup he sat Gio Reyna, who like
he's
Gio Reyna is kind of like I mean, right now is a Nottingham Forest, so he's kind of like, in like, banishment a little bit. But like at the time he was on Dortmund, and Dortmund have a history of selling really good players, and he could have easily been like the next. Not Jude Bellingham, but like a step or two below Jude Bellingham. He also has a father, Claudio Reyna, who played football. So like, you know, the American fans really want to see him, and he is a really dynamic attacking midfielder. In terms of style of play, I'm not saying he's anywhere close to as good as him, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Messi and Maradona. Like he's the type of guy where like you can give him the ball a little bit past center field, and he'll just do crazy stuff and make something happen. And Berhalter sat him for the entire World Cup. And every single American fan was just like, why the fuck are you doing this? It was because of a row between him and Gio Reyna's father. And it's
uh,
like,
yeah.
like at the point where we're doing that in the World Cup, like what are we really doing here, people? Like seriously? And
It's,
so all Pac needs to do is not that. I mean, the bar is very low for him.
no, Poch has a great history with obviously bringing up youth and like putting his faith in the young players, bringing them through. So I'll be interested to see. I think the landscape now with Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Poch, like it's very interesting. There's a big debate, German leading the English team. What the fuck? What's the FA doing? Where the young English coaches? Blah blah blah. You can't have it both ways. We were literally bitching about the English coach that steadied the ship, I want to win something. I don't give two fucks if he's German, Spanish, from Mars. If he's good at his job and he takes the job and he gives it 110% with the players we have, shit, even if we lose, but as long as like there's a plan, if we lose the better team, fair enough. But with the quality now and this generation coming through, there's no way we're
Well,
one of the favorites now for the World Cup.
yeah, so let's start with the German angle, and then we can talk about the actual like, what it means for the team. Like, so let me ask you a question: Who is the best English manager since, like, say, like 1995? Would you say?
That's a great question. English manager. I mean, we've had Terry Venables, we've had Eddie Howe more recently, Southgate.
Okay.
Oh, there's one guy. Fuck, what was it? Who was the manager of Leeds?
No. Oh no, no, but what I mean is like a manager who is English is what I
That's
mean.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
English manager, that's how that's how piss poor it's been for a while. Um, a lot of people liked. I'm not a fan, but a lot of people liked Glenn Hoddle. Glenn Hoddle, who had the England job in the '90s. I think he's probably been more in terms of
Okay, so it's
style.
been 30 years.
Yeah, but him, he handled the David Beckham thing horribly. His style of play wasn't great. He alienated a lot of players unnecessarily, but Hoddle was a decent manager.
I'm just saying that, like, for some reason England can't produce good managers. It just
I
in
think
the
there's a
past
glass
30
ceiling.
years.
I think there's a glass ceiling. So the example I can give is, and I actually really rated is who was it? Rob something, the Luton town manager. So he got Luton promoted to the Premier League last year. They went straight back down, but they came very close to surviving. And the style of Rob Edwards, he doesn't get enough credit. Eddie Howe at Newcastle, I think, has gone a little bit stale in my opinion. Um,
But I mean, come on, we're talking about differences in kind here, right? Like if you look at like the best Premier League managers of the past 20 years, you have Jurgen Klopp, who's German, Pep Guardiola, who's Spanish, Jose Mourinho, who's Portuguese, like Arsene Wenger, who is French,
yeah,
like he's French, right?
thank
So it's like, like what are we talking about here? You're not gonna like if you actually want to win the World Cup, you're for some reason you can't do it with an English coach. That's just the fact of the matter, and you just gotta like get over it and like like you have a great squad. Like why limit it with a coach who's not up to par? And then as I made the point to you the other day, like the fucking King of England is not even English. The King of England is German. Like they literally changed the name to the House of Windsor during World War One because there was such anti German sentiment. But like the actual name of the House of Windsor is the House of like Korg Saxony or something. It's like a German name. Like this is a you guys have been ruled by Germans. You guys have been ruled by the French. The Plantagenet dynasty from 1066 to 1392 was a
you.
French dynasty. You guys were ruled by the Dutch. You guys were ruled by the Scottish for 60 years. James the first, second, and Charles the first and second. Like, if we're being realistic here, like England it's not a recent phenomenon that England is ruled by other countries. It's just what happens. So like just
Don't
embrace
say
it.
it out loud. We just don't say it out loud. It's like an unspoken truth, I guess. But to be fair, it's a really 50-50 split. I think the ones that are saying the German sentiment are also ones that aren't really fans of Tuchel when he was at Chelsea, probably because they're rival
Yeah.
fans. I fucking hate Chelsea. But you know what? Tuchel, to his credit, I would have taken him at United if I'm being honest. But the problem with that is I think he's very combustible after a certain amount of time. He's in the league of a Jose, of these managers where it's like a short time frame, 2 to 3 years, and it's gonna go.
Oh,
You go.
100%.
So the fact that they've
He's
given him,
super Jose. He's
yes,
super Jose. Like,
two things that work in this case is he can't argue in terms of he's not at club football where, oh, give me more money, I want to sign who I want to sign, because this is international now. You have a depth of players that are from that national team. That's what you get. You know what you're working with. There is no, I want to buy so and so for 90 million pounds or whatever. So that's his big combustible issue. Number one, gone. Number two, they've given him an 18-month contract, so just after the World Cup. And I think it's very smart because they're saying, look, we've done all this long-term planning for the last 10, 15 years, stabilized things, Southgate and everyone. We're now in a position where we need instant results. Let's get an instant results manager and only give him a contract till the World Cup. Now, there's two scenarios that happen. He either, or three potentially. One, he goes and wins it, everyone's happy. He extends his contract after the 18 months. 2, we give it a good shot. We fall short. He may extend his contract anyway. Or 3, even if it goes tits up and it's a complete catastrophe, well then his contract's up anyway. So I think the FA have actually played it really well, and I'm actually going to give them credit for once.
I mean, for me, I actually don't even read that much into the contract just because like it just seemed logical. The World Cup is like the next big event. I don't see, any it's kind of like, if I were giving, international managers contracts, it would be up until the end of the World Cup or up until the end of Euros. Because that's like what matters, you know what I mean? For me, like, um first of all, I think Tuchel's, and I mean, we talked about this a little bit over text, but so we reiterating points a little bit. But like, first of all, Tuchel's 2021 Chelsea win was one of the greatest coaching performances in history, I think. I think that they were 10th when he took over, 10th in the Premier League. They had no shot. Like if you had asked anybody, do you think Chelsea's going to win the Champions League this year? Not a single person would have said yes. Not even Chelsea fans would have said yes, right? And so what he did was absolutely miraculous. And then we had the couple years later where the entire team just kind of combusted. Now, to his credit, a lot of that was also due to the owner, having to sell the team. You had all this other craziness that happened, but then we haven't seen Tuchel in Bayern Munich. He is a super Jose. He's only good for like 1 or 2 years, and the thing is that he just drives the players crazy. It seems the players after 1 or 2 years, and by the way, Pep was kind of like this at Barcelona. After 1 or 2 years, the players just do not respond to Tuchel anymore. They do not care. They don't want to hear it. The beautiful thing for England is, first of all, as you said, he has limited interactions with the players. So, like, it's not a day-to-day thing. And 2, like, winning the World Cup for England is such an important goal that I think the players are going to be willing to put aside all of that stuff in order for that greater good. Now, will you be able to win 2 World Cups? No, I think what I actually think is going to
I'll take
happen. I
one.
think
I'm not going to be greedy. I'll take one. I don't need two.
exactly. I think what's going to happen is Tuchel's going to win the World Cup. I really think England are by far the favorites going to the World Cup with Tuchel. I think obviously after America, I think then he's going to win the World Cup, and then in the next Euros, the team is just going to explode, and he's going to get fired. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think that every single England fan, like I think he might not even get out of the group stage during the next Euros, and I think every single England fan will take that. We'll take that 100 times out of 100. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. No, I think as well, what I find very interesting is so they've announced him, but he doesn't actually start his role till January 1st of 2025. So there's another obviously international break in November, last 2 set of fixtures for Nations League. They're still going to give the interim manager, who's also the under-21s coach, Lee Carsley, that sort of put in his purview. When you look at it at first glance, you think, what the hell? Why not just give him the chance to start working with the players like as soon as possible? Why would you give? But then going back to the idea of England managed by an English manager, I think they're going to do Tuchel for now, try and get the easy fix win, and then appoint Lee Carsley or another Englishman further down the line to build on hopefully some success that's been grandfathered in. So there's an assistant coach that's joined Tuchel's team. He's English as well. So they're trying to blood up. They're trying to have a leader at the top and then blood through these young English guys that can learn from him and hopefully give him an easier platform to build on. Like, let's say if there's a World Cup under their belt, if whoever the next guy comes for the Euros, if he leaves on the 18-month mark, Tuchel, they have a great platform now to build on. The players now, for once, will be used to winning something. They'll have that chip off their shoulder. They can play with less pressure. And hopefully we can start building what might potentially be a dynasty and an English one, let's say. So I actually, from all angles, I really think the FA are working very smart. Even in appointing Tuchel, they were very quick and shrewd with the talks. I believe it was announced on the morning of that they were in talks with him. By 8 p.m. that evening, he was announced. Very speedy system. I think it came out that he actually signed a couple of days prior to it as well. On October 8th, he actually signed the contract. So there were no leaks into the media. They've handled it really well. It's looking really professional.
Yeah, I think he's really like and I mean, we kind of talked about this. Like, the question is, like, is he just a one-hit wonder? He hasn't had really any success besides Chelsea. Now, Chelsea was an insane success, but like, you do kind of need him to follow that up with something.
Yep.
The counter to that is that, like, so my analogy for Tuchel is the New York Giants under Eli Manning, were like the New York Giants with Eli Manning would either go 2-14 and just completely flame out, or they'd
Yeah.
win the Super Bowl. Like, those are the two options, right? And it's like, you're not going to win the Super Bowl every single year, so you need to be comfortable with the fact that you can have a lot of years of terrible performances, but you're going to get that one time. And so if Tuchel can have it be like, look, you bring me in as a ringer and you have a 20% chance of winning the championship with me. I think that's a dynasty that I would hang my hat on. If he can win, he has one Champions League, if he wins a World Cup, and then if he wins one or two more Champions Leagues in a similar type of, ringer type role, the same way he was brought in with Bayern, but it failed. I think that's a good career. I'm happy with that as a coach, right?
Tactically, he's very smart. I think he had a run of like 4 or 5 games against Guardiola where like he was getting the better on. It was actually that season where he won in some cup competitions, he won in the league, and then he won in the Champions League final. Now, I'll give it a bit of a caveat. Guardiola is that mad genius where he tinkers a little bit too much. So he goes the whole season killing it with his CDM, at least Fernandinho or Rodri. Rodri back then isn't the Rodri that he is now. So he was up and coming.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
Fernandinho
Fernandinho was great at the
was
time.
a beast. He was an absolute beast. So then going into the Champions League final and for the first time all season playing no CDM, Guardiola kind of handed it. Tuchel's team still have to go and take it and get the result. But I think Guardiola definitely contributed to that bullshit as well. So,
Do you
do
know
not
who
put,
assisted on that goal?
huh?
Do you know who assisted on that goal to win the
Mason
Champions
Mount.
League?
Mason Mount, who's sitting on the United fucking treatment table every
Oh
week.
shit, it was Mason Mount. Fuck. For some reason I
Feeling
thought it was Pulisic.
Pulisic. I knew where you were going with it for a second. It was actually Mount. Pulisic had
Ah,
some really
fuck.
good chances in that game as well. And he's doing well
Yeah.
at that, so good for him. But yeah, Mount had the assist for Havertz. So, and to be fair, last season Champions League, Real Madrid, Hosselu, like who would have thought that was going to happen with 2 minutes to go at Bayern? So Tuchel came very close to being in another final. He's been in two already, one with PSG where they lost to a very good Bayern side, one where he's beaten Guardiola's City where he tinkered too much Guardiola, and now he almost potentially was in third. So tactically, especially in international management, I think the tactics are a bit more where they can get you the edge. I think, hopefully, touch wood, maybe wishful thinking, but I see us as outright favourites. If we just do our jobs, we play to our strengths, and he won't shy of playing three at the back or something crazy tactical where England fans might not enjoy it. He'll be like, "Fuck it, I want the result, I want to win," and because he has the pedigree, we're gonna shut up and take it. If we're
Well,
playing
here's my question.
attacking and we're not happy with what we're watching, but he's giving us the 1-0 wins and the results, we're just gonna shut up and all right, let's go on this journey. 18 months, let's get it done.
My question is, do you think that like what role do you think Harry Kane played in this decision? Like because he was at Bayern with Harry Kane and
Yeah,
he tried to break the Harry Kane curse and he wasn't able to.
you're
And
gonna win.
now he's just like, look, I need a second chance at this curse.
I
I'm
knew this.
going to, because if he is the guy who could break the Harry Kane curse, that is legendary.
Um, if I'm being
Never won a trophy.
well,
Third.
Vincent Company might break it before he does, to be honest.
That's true. What's the current standings? Is it like some weird
Leipzig are top.
um
Leipzig are top, maybe on goal difference or a point or two above. Leipzig are top of the Bundesliga going into the
that'd be
international.
hilarious if Leipzig wins.
Leipzig are literally
No, they're tied. Bayern Munich is winning on goal difference.
oh, there we go. Okay.
But like you also have Eintracht Frankfurt that's right behind them.
Yeah. I don't think Kane played too much of an impact. If I'm looking at Tuchel's very cerebral. He cares about winning. He doesn't give a fuck. And like you said, he can fall out with players as well, as much as they go for him as well. I think he's looked at this team, the likes of Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden. He's looking at this team and thinking, they're almost there. They've been in 2 European Championship finals back to back. They've been in semi-finals of World Cup, quarterfinals. He probably believes with his tactical nous that he can coach these players to a win. He's won
I
a lot more with a lot less, let's say.
I
So I
do
think
think
they played
that
a small
though.
part, but I don't think it was like be all end all. I don't think he saw Harry Kane and thought, this is, I had him at Bayern, he's at England, he's captain. It'll be a smoother transition. I'll be very curious to see. I think initially he'll keep Kane captain, but I'll be very interested to see if he still is captain in 2026.
I was mainly making a joke about the curse, but yeah, no, I mean the one issue with Tuchel that we kind of have to address though is that like he is kind of the wrong coach for this team, just tactically. Like he is a a counterattacking coach and like counterattacking and this is a possession squad. So
They couldn't
like
be attacking squad. The likes of, when Bellingham was at Dortmund, they counterattack the shit out of teams. I
no,
think
I know, but
it'll be more like,
Bellingham is not that fast, let's be honest.
he can spread the play from box to box. He can control. He doesn't have to be super fast. I've seen him. It's like almost like watching a basketball game. He'll go from one end to the other, and he'll be on the end. Like the goal against Greece, like he was all the way back, left, almost left back or left wing back when he hit that strike. So for
But
me,
the issue though isn't the offense. The issue is the defense. Like, is your
well,
defense there that you can play on your back
I could
foot
see
for 60 minutes?
I could see Tuchel. I think that there's enough young defense. I think the good thing, hopefully now, with Tuchel coming in, I don't see Harry Maguire starting for England. It can't be. Like you've got Fikayo Tomori, who's been at Milan for a couple of years now, very underrated. You've got Levi Colwill, you've got Jarell Quansah coming in. Like we have this young blooded, we can blood some young defenders in now between now and the World Cup, where I could see us playing three at the back and just hitting on the break potentially, or playing more dominant possession play, but still having a 3 or 5 at the back when it suits us. I see Tuchel having enough backbone and the pedigree behind to tell the fans, listen, shut up, I know what I'm doing. We're going to get the result, but it might not be what you want to watch. And I, for one, am all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that you kind of
England's
have
best,
this.
England's best performance at the Euros, in my opinion, was when we played three at the back against Switzerland. We completely were a different team. That was the only
Yeah,
time we actually turned up. The three at the back is a system that has suited us in the past. Southgate started initially in 2018 with it, great success, but then felt the pressure by the fans and by what we wanted to see. Like, look, we want to see possession dominated attacking football. With Tuchel, I think he's going to get a little bit more, because especially with his first, maybe potentially only tournament, he might get away with playing that, 3 or 5 at the back, the counter-attacking style, getting the results. Let's see.
yeah. I mean, the good thing is that you do kind of have the speed. I mean, especially with Marcus Rashford, but you have Phil Foden's pretty fast.
Saka, speed
Saka's
demon.
fast.
Yeah.
So and then also like a lot of defense is just training, right? And yeah, you do have John Stones as well.
Concentration levels. I mean, if you look at our centre backs, really, you're looking at right now, in my opinion, Stones, Ezri Konsa, who I think is severely underrated, having a great time at Villa, and he played really well at the Euros. Mark Gahey's okay. He's not the bee's knees. I don't think he's worth the 70 million Newcastle had been told to pay by Crystal Palace. So I actually respect Newcastle for walking away from that one and saying, it's not worth it. Who else do we have? Jesus Christ.
But I mean, the problem is that if you want to play a three back on your back foot, because a three back is typically a possession formation, right? Like you have a 3-4-3. If you want to play three back on your back foot, you're gonna kind of have to play like a three, either like a 3-2-3-1 or something along the lines of like a 5-3-2 or something like that, right?
3-2-3-1, right? So you had the three, you could have, I think Kyle Walker's done, to be honest. I don't think he has an England future. But if you had the likes of Ezri Konsa's pretty fast as well. So if you have your John Stones in the middle, Ezri Konsa, and then maybe Luke Shaw, whoever, or someone else there. At the two there, you're going to have Trent. And what I'm really looking forward to, Tuchel, I believe, can do this, is he can finally, it's a fresh start for a lot of these English players that aren't getting a look in through Gareth Southgate, haven't been treated right. So for me, I'm excited to see what a Trent Alexander-Arnold for England in a tactically managed team like Thomas Tuchel will have. We should be able to release that potential now.
Well,
making the runs that we have.
If you're playing like a 3-2-3-1 though, like I would play Trent in the middle as one of the two holding defenders. Because then
wasted there.
Because if you think about it, here let's look at this. Well, I guess it's a 3-5-1 formation. I just always think of it as like a 3-2-3-1 formation, but
I
Let's
think
look at
middle of the
this.
park, Trent won't have the space to ping it. You won't be able to see the runs as much. I think if you have him out wide, right wing back as part of a 3 or a 5 at the back,
Oh,
and
it's a 3-5-2.
he can just spray it as much as he wants. Had the runs of Foden and Ollie Watkins and them boys going up top. Kane's not mobile enough. I think there's going to hopefully be a changing of the guard. Kane might be like ceremonial captain, come on in the last 20 minutes, but Ollie Watkins needs to start for England.
So if you're looking at this, right, like this formation over here, and this is a little bit wide.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have it this wide, but like here and here, I forget who's who, but like Kyle Walker is a left back, right?
Carl Walker's right back.
Okay, who's your left back?
Normally it's Luke Shaw, but we also have Ben Chilwell and a few others, but everyone's fucking injured.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'd play Shaw and Walker. They're actually kind of perfect for this position because they're both really good offensively and they're both extremely quick.
Yes.
But like the reason why I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is kind of perfect for this is that you have him over here, and you have, if he gets beat over here, you have these two, central defenders protecting him. If he gets beat over here, you have this because with a 3-2-3-2 or whatever, or 3-5-2, when you're on defense, you basically turn into like a 5-2-3, right? In this situation, you have Kyle Walker here protecting him. So I actually think that you want Trent in this position right over here at that place on the pitch, especially because he has really good visibility to sling the ball around.
You could definitely start there, in my opinion. But if you just post up again for a second, I'll explain what I think would happen under Tuchel. Then hopefully, if we played him in that position. So, yep, perfect. It's just loading, great. So okay, let's say it's on that particular right. So your right mid is Saka, your right CDM is Trent, and your right centre back there is Walker. Let's say, just for argument's sake.
Saka, okay.
So I'm
Oh, so
thinking,
you're playing Walker over here.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay, because what I would do is I would play Concert over here, Walker over here, and Saka over here, and you
No,
just release Saka.
Saka needs that space on the right. So I place because Saka can defend as well. He'll be up and down. It'll be a thankless job. He'll be up and down that pitch. So I would actually play Saka right mid, Walker right centre back, Trent CDM. But what you want is you want him to be able to interchange. So at some point, I would want to see Trent in that right centre back role. Walker maybe pushed up a bit, Saka further up, but that CDM kind of pushed out wide a bit more. So in between the right centre back and right mid, like a
I
weird
can
spot.
tell you, man,
And then start
playing Trent as a right center back, you're gonna be crying a lot of tears.
No, no,
It's
you're
gonna-
not playing right centre back, but in transitions of play, they will switch around the
Oh, okay.
position. The formation, he's stuck at right centre mid. That's his starting position. But throughout the game, he'll float around and he'll end up in that weird pocket there between the centre back and the right mid and start pinging them balls across to those runs. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
curling them upwards.
No,
That's
no,
where
I definitely like that.
really,
Yeah.
I think a lot of opportunity. It's really exciting, especially if we're coming across a team that's pressing us high. We can get Trent the ball there nice and early. And I'll tell you who did this really well. It was actually Real Madrid in the Champions League final 2 years ago against Liverpool. You guys pressed the shit out. They couldn't hold the ball up. So the keeper would ping it straight to Danny Carvajal at right back. And his first touch being immaculate, one touch take, his next touch, spread it out. Give it to Tony Cruz or give it to someone to then start playing the ball. You need that outlet. And Trent is that guy for us. We need to use it.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw can do exactly the same on the other side. I'm
I
just
love
annoyed
Luke
that
Shaw.
fucking cunty snake in the grass that can play
How
for
old
England.
is he?
Who, Luke Shaw?
Yeah.
He's 29, but you might as well be
Huh.
fucking 65 because he can't play for United anymore, the scumbag, but he always shows up for England. Trent,
Yeah.
25, his whole career ahead of him. I'm very excited to see. This formation, I could see Tuchel doing really well. If he is going to play Harry Kane, fuck it, play Kane and play Ollie Watkins up top with him, so at least there's some movement. Bellingham in the attacking mid, Rice and Trent holding. Your left mid,
With this formation, you like with the strikers, you want to have one slow striker and one
one
fast
hold up.
striker.
Kane could be the hold up striker, maybe coming short, and Ollie Watkins would be the guy making the runs all behind the whole time. Keep the
Yeah.
defenders guessing.
I mean Kane's role in this is basically like if the fast break fails and like Ollie Watkins gets holed up by like the right back or the left back, then he can pass it to Kane who's coming up and can, score something. By the way, do you know who invented this formation?
No idea. It's been around for a long time.
Biardo, who is the Argentinian coach of the 1986 Argentina World Cup squad
Oh,
with
fair play.
Maradona.
I
So
mean,
this is actually my favorite formation whenever I play FIFA. I love this formation, and it's also Maradona's my favorite player. So
looking at
it's
this
really
lineup
cool.
right now, straight, I can name you the starting 11. Goalkeeper Pickford, right centre back Carl Walker, central centre back John Stones, left centre back Luke Shaw, left midfield Foden, Rice in the CDM, Trent CDM, Saka right mid, Bellingham attacking mid, Watkins and Kane up top. There you go, job done. Make me England manager.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're winning it. We're winning the World Cup.
I don't really like playing the fullbacks in the center back role with a 3-5-2
I get
because
that.
I mean there are some people who you can, like, for example, like Andy Robertson. You can play Andy Robertson as a center back, no problem. But the issue with someone like Kyle Walker is that, like, you are kind of limiting what you can get from Kyle Walker because he can't fully commit to the attack because he needs to always be ready to go back. You know what I mean? So you're kind
I
of
mean,
like tying his hands behind his back a little bit.
Walker is also on the wrong side of 30. So Ezri Konsa for me, I've seen him play. The Ezri
That's
Konsa
true.
centre back. Luke Shaw's played left centre back for us when we've had injury crisis and been brilliant. He reads the ball.
Yeah.
He's not the tallest, but he reads the ball well. He's got good control. So yeah, for me, if I had to, I'd switch out Walker for Konsa here. So you're right centre back, but Luke Shaw left centre back, John Stones. Let's go. And what we could even do
There's
is
something. I'm sorry, did you?
John Stones is now used to playing in the middle of the park. He'll join the midfield from defence under Pep's tactics. So you could even have him push forward, have an additional midfield, and have either the left mid or the right mid come back, tuck in a little. So you still have that defensive shape. It depends what you want to do. Saka will do that job. Foden won't enjoy it, but he can also do that job as well. Like, this is a multi-purpose team where it's a tactic that Simone Inzaghi at Inter Milan's doing a lot. It's called universal players. So even though you have your fixtures, you have your fixed lineup, and you actually have your formation in place,
Yeah, it's
each
total
player,
football.
each player has the ability to do a different position to a
Yeah.
degree. I'm not saying Luke Shaw plays striker, but what I'm saying is amongst that left side, Luke Shaw could be able to take that centre back, that left mid, or that left CDM position and do a job for you. So you need interchanging ability amongst your players.
Here's a question I think about a lot. Who do you think is the player who can who like would be the best at every position? So if you needed one player who could theoretically play at every position except for goalkeeper, who do you think would be the best person to be that utility player
Best
of
person
current
I've seen,
active players?
best person I've seen. It's not an English player, but the first one that comes to mind, I'll give you an English player in a second. The first one I've seen so far in my experience, last 5 years, Bernardo Silva. He can play
Okay.
any position in that outfield 10, 100%. Now
Okay.
For England, I've seen Saka do it the most, if I'm being honest. But I think Bellingham, just because of his attributes, you could stick Bellingham in defense, he'll clear the shit for you. Bellingham in CDM, he'll hold the ball up well, he'll on the turn, and then Bellingham scores goals as well. Maybe not the best on the wing, but I've seen him been used there by Madrid at some parts of last season. He wasn't terrible.
See, I feel like Luke Shaw would probably be up there.
The reason, again, I'm a little bit biased just because that little prick isn't playing for my team properly or not even showing up, even though he can play for England. So Luke Shaw's in my absolute bad books. I think he might as well retire, honestly, at this point. Just play for England, retire club football, you're a wanker.
Okay, so Luke Shaw from 5 years ago. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But like
Luke
if
Shaw from
Luke
2 years,
Shaw,
two
yeah,
years ago.
if he's starting, if he's your starting striker, you're probably not winning the Champions League final, but like you can win a lot of games with Luke Shaw as your starting striker. You'd be kind of
Yeah.
like a Diogo Jota type striker, more of just like a free safety roaming around. Also, for me, this is why I love this guy, Emery San. I feel like can play any position on the pitch.
Actually, I was just thinking about this formation. There's one key player I forgot who it'd have to be Cole Palmer. So either him or Foden on the left, or potentially anywhere along that three in the mid, right mid, center attacking mid, or left mid. Fuck it, I'd even play. So this is what I would do. Take Kane out of my team. Kane's gone. Same
Bellingham
with
your striker.
Ollie Watkins is my striker, but then I'm going to play an offset. So this is what Liverpool did with Gerrard and Fernando Torres in the mid 2000s. So your two strikers there, you play like an offset. So
Yeah,
Bellingham would be the offset player, and then Ollie Watkins would be up top. And then I'd make sure that Cole Palmer is in that attacking mid position or on the wing. So
yeah.
him, Foden, and Saka have to be in that three. Kane's out, put him on the bench, put him and Walker on the bench for the last 20 minutes of the game, bring them on. Watkins, Bellingham, offset up top.
I have to say, so I spend way too much time just because I'm kind of autistic about this, like looking at formations. Like like insanely fascinated by formations. I love them. One brief tangent. I was like talking shit with like a coworker a few years ago about FIFA. I was saying like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could beat you. I mean, he was doing more of the talking shit than I was, right? And I asked him, I was like, okay, so like which formation do you use? And he was like, wait, you change formations? I was like, bro, if you do not change formations in FIFA, you're on a completely different caliber than people who do. You know what I mean? Like if you're not going in like a doctor and changing shit around, like you're just not on the same. Anyway, my point is I'm very autistic about formations, specifically because I love playing FIFA so much. But one thing that really pisses me off actually is like I spend a lot of time looking at historical formations, and I hate when they do the offset. I hate offsets because it's kind of here's why. It's because like we all know how the players are going to play in the situation. You know what I mean? Like, so like, why are we doing the offset? Or rather, I mean, like, I don't like when they have the offset on a formation chart in a game because it's like, yeah, of course, I know that Bellingham is not going to be playing as high as Ollie Watkins. Like we all know that. You don't have to notate it for me. Let's just keep the nice shape together. Let's not because sometimes when they do that, it goes from like a 3-5-2 to like a 3-1-1-4-1-2-1. It's just like let's keep it clean. That's my little offset ramp. If you are creating a formation chart for a game, don't do offsets. Or if you do, don't send the formation chart to me. I'm not interested. I don't want to look at
We played a lot of beer pong in SF in our heyday. And one of your favorite re-racks was offset. I remember playing against you. You loved a re-rack, offset re-rack.
No, no, no. Here, look, I do, but what I'm saying is,
Bullshit. I'm just saying, like,
look. I like offsets when they make, but my problem with the offset on a formation map is that it doesn't actually add any information. If you understand the team, you should know that this player is playing an offset.
I
Is
get what
all
you're
I'm
saying.
saying. Like you should like here. I'll show the exact example that really pisses me off. Um,
You can look up 2008 Liverpool formation. You're going to see the Gerrard Torres offset in the pre-match formations, 100%.
No, the one that actually really pisses me off is I think it's the 2016 UEFA Champions League final.
For Madrid or for Atletico.
It was Madrid where like you have Bale and Benzema and Ronaldo all over the thing, and I'm just like, let's just like, why are we doing this? Let's just like I know where all these players are playing. I can't find it right now, but look, for people who are listening to this rant and are saying, Paul, you're wrong, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm right. Um, 2018 final. I think it's on the UEFA site.
18 or 16 final.
Um, I either of them. I mean they had it for all of them.
They're
Let
in
me
all
see if
three
it's
finals.
a
They were in every final. They won every final between 16 and 18. So yeah, take your pick.
yeah. I hate Real Madrid. Um, anyway, I can't find it, but yeah. So I do agree with you though. Like there is an offset. I just we do need to play beer pong. By the way, when I'll be coming to England in my trip.
Yeah.
Oh, if I do the trip, haha, I said do. I'm gonna if Liverpool go to the Champions League final, I want to go to it. Would you be down to come?
Where is it this year?
Munich.
Is it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't. On the off chance you can
Now,
win it, I can't be there. You know what I normally used to do? Every time you lot were in a final, my friends in London would attest to this. I would leave the country. I would leave the country. 2018, I went to Spain with my ex. 2019,
Perfect.
I
Leave
went
the
to
country, go to
not
Germany.
to the goddamn yeah. Oh, you know what? The minute you lot lose, I would jump on a flight and meet you there and celebrate your lot's loss. But there's no way I'm going to be in the same fucking continent as the 2019 final. I went to Belfast to meet our Irish friends, and I told the boys, like, look, take me to the one bar or pub that doesn't have televisions right now. I didn't want to be anywhere near that fucking game. So bless them.
Yeah.
One spot.
I mean, the thing that I love about Slot, I think in the last three Liverpool Champions League finals, we didn't score a single goal in regular time.
Oh, that can't be right.
Let me double check. UEFA
Lost
final.
Champions League finals.
No, wait, no, I'm sorry. Okay, we only scored one non-penalty goal in three finals, which is a terrible, terrible record. We got
Oh,
blanked by Real.
false. You
And,
scored two. You scored two.
one of them was a Mo Salah penalty.
Yeah. Divock Origi scored, and Sadio Mane scored in 2018 when you lost. I hate
What
that.
is this?
I hate that because I remember I was
What
really
is
getting.
this stat then that
I
I'm
was getting
remembering?
really. I was getting really drunk when you guys went 1-0 up in Spain with the ex misses, and then fucking Mane scored, and I'm thinking, shit, and the Spanish
Yeah.
didn't give a fuck. We were 2 hours outside of Barcelona in some small town, beach town, and they're all Madrid fans, but they didn't know what I was cheering the loudest in the whole hotel when I was watching this shit.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Can I tell you one nice thing about Real Madrid? The Bernabeu, guess what they have as their food option for you? Prosciutto sandwiches.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's like a nice little, so that's a little, because I mean, it's technically jamon, but I think of it as prosciutto. And it's like
Okay,
just such an integral part of Madrid's culture, the jamon, that like that's what they serve. And it's really good. Their food there is really good and not that expensive. It's like $5.
Roy Keane would be livid. He hates the prawn sandwich brigade here. If he saw fucking ham on sandwiches in the box
You
seats.
have prawn sandwiches in Manchester?
So basically, there was a famous run in 2001 where Roy Keane, basically, this is when we were like stupidly successful and we kind of were drinking our own Kool-Aid and we were making dodgy. We had really bad performances in Champions League. We were knocked out at the stages we shouldn't have been. And Roy Keane kind of came out and it was a brilliant run. He was like, you know what? I appreciate the passionate fans, the ones that pay the tickets now, but you know what? Because we started getting a lot of corporate as well, box seats.
Oh yeah.
He was like, you know what? These certain fans that sit in these boxes and eat their prawn sandwich, but he called them the prawn sandwich brigade. It was the funniest
Oh.
thing. So
So
yeah,
that's actually something that happened with the Golden State Warriors. So up until 2015, Golden State Warriors tickets were very cheap, like incredibly cheap. And then what happened was once they started winning, you had all these fair weather fans, and the tickets started skyrocketing. And the real so in American sports, like the best atmospheres are college sports. And so when someone says something's a good atmosphere, they don't. Have you been to a college game in America?
I have not, but I've seen images of, actually, you know what? I went to
They are
one,
insane. You need to go to one. They are insane.
went to a tailgate party for University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign back in like 2014, but I wasn't with the right
Nice.
crowd. And I enjoyed the atmosphere, but I was with a terrible crowd. It just wasn't the
You,
right
you
people.
you need to go. We'll go to like an American college game one
Oh,
time. Like I used to go to Syracuse basketball games. Those things are insane. One of my best sports experiences ever, and this is an off week, so we're gonna be talking about other sports, I guess, also. But like, so the team that I hate the most in college sports, I don't really follow college sports anymore, but like when I was in Syracuse, I did, because I'm a Syracuse fan. Is the University of Louisville, because they were just one of those teams that like we would like it's one of those games where like no matter who is up, like it's a tough game, right? And like they won a championship when I was anyway. So I after I graduated, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, and a friend of mine gave me his Louisville football tickets for free, which is nice because he actually got his client was taking him out to like the box the box seats. So he was like, "Here, to take my season tickets, right?" And so I went, and they had this quarterback. I forgot his name, by now, but like he was going to win the Heisman, which is the Ballon d'Or of college football, and like literally they're like 12-0. It was a perfect season, and that game they self imploded. His Heisman run was derailed. His he was going to be a first round draft pick. He ended up not even really having a professional career at all. His entire life was destroyed. The entire season of University of Louisville completely burned up within 15 seconds. It was like a couple of really stupid decisions at the end. And I was sitting there so happy that I got to witness
Oh,
these
hey,
fans. Oh, I was such a hater. I mean, I didn't say anything because like I didn't want to because
oh, die.
you get your ass kicked, but like oh my god, it's such a great experience.
Can you imagine in a crowd of people, everyone's like, why is that one cunt smiling? Why is he not reacting like spot the difference? Like, remember Where's Waldo? Like, what is that guy doing? Like,
I
crowd of
literally at one point was laughing, so I literally had to go like this while I was walking out of the stadium. Um, anyway, so back to actual, football, footy talk. This week, Brentford. It's kind of weird. We were talking about this, that a game against Brentford could be one of the most important games of Manchester United, but it is.
so many injuries. Agate, Mainu, all sorts. Oh, it could get really ugly. We could lose 3 or 4 nil. Honestly, this could get really bad.
Who's injured? So Ugati, Mainu, who else?
Rawi's out, so we're gonna put Dallo back at right back. They're talking about Johnny Evans going left back, but surely Martinez will play left back and Evans will play centre back with Delict. I don't know what the fuck our midfield is going to be. Maybe Ericsson. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm really scared for this game. I've kind of mentally checked out. Like, I'll mention at the end of our thing that there's actually a more important. Funnily enough, diehard United fan, but the United game against Brentford is not the most important event for me on Saturday, which I'll explain in a minute. Which is really weird to hear from someone like me say that. Like, I want us to win, but if the other event goes the way I want it to, I could give 2 fucks what United do because it's more
What is
personal.
it?
Our Irish friend Paul Hughes, he's fighting Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Saudi, so it's a good day for sports on Saturday. But in an ideal, perfect world, Paul knocks the cunt out, United win, happy days. But under no circumstance, I'd rather Paul wins and United get battered. I have no issues. I could give 2 fucks because Man United have been letting me down, and they don't really know me like that. Even though I'm dying.
Yeah.
Paul winning is fine. Be the most important thing. But I think we're going to get a spanking against Brentford if we're not careful.
We have a Formula One race this weekend that's pretty important
In the
because
US,
like
it's in the US this one, yeah.
Circuit of the Americas. The thing is that like so one thing that happens in Formula One, we're playing Chelsea. That's actually gonna be a tough game.
Huge game on Sunday. I'm gonna get to
Yeah.
catch the first half. I'm playing at 6 p.m. our time, so I'm gonna miss the second half. But
Oh my
I'm
God.
praying for like 10 red cards, Chelsea nicking it last minute.
My girlfriend's gonna be so pissed at me because like I've been sick for like 3 weeks, so like I've had a good excuse to just stay at home and like not do stuff and just watch sports. But like she's been getting kind of stir crazy. She's like, we should like go out and do something. And like my feet are healed, my everything is healed. So I'm like, I need an excuse to be able because there are 2 Formula 1 races on Saturday I need to watch. There's a Formula One race on Sunday I need to watch, and then there's the Liverpool game I need to watch. So
You know what you need
she's
to
gonna
do?
be really angry at me. What?
You know what you need? You need to do like a kamikaze to the foot. Like you need to drop something heavy on one of your feet. It's gonna suck, but you just gotta be like shit. Just literally, shooting yourself in the foot to an expression. You're gonna have to do something like that where you just. What was that thing? What was that guy?
Yeah,
That guy fucking that rapper that shot that chick in the foot. What was his name? Tory Lanez. You got to Tory Lanez yourself. You just got to do something, fuck your foot up, and then just fucking rest in
yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, so like I think I'm gonna try to convince her to spend Saturday with her family, so that'll be good.
Oh, but all the things are on Sunday, friend. The race and Liverpool are on Sunday.
So here's the thing, here's how I can get away with Liverpool. I'm gonna wake up late on Sunday. So if I'm up at 11:45 on Sunday, then like the game's at 12:30. So it's like, I'm already there. You know what I mean? You wake up at 11:45, you walk around, you eat lunch. you sit down on the couch at 12:25, put on the game. There's nothing she can do. She can't stop you at that point. And then 6 p.m. I'm probably gonna have to watch it on my phone, but she'll understand. So the thing about Formula One this weekend is that so during the breaks are actually very important times in Formula One because that's when they work on the car and they bring upgrades. And our car has just been shit for like 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row. It's just been terrible. So basically, like we started out with this giant lead, and then for the past eight races, we haven't been able to do anything. Funny enough, the driver with the best car by far has scored the same amount of points as our driver in that entire time. So like it shows how much of a twat he is and how great our driver is. But anyway, like if we could come to this race with some upgrades, and if this car can get back on track, which it can, then we're just smooth sailing to a fifth title for a fourth title for Max Verstappen, which is all I care about.
Big question. So obviously, I told you in terms of my preferences for Saturday between United and Paul. I need Paul. I don't care what United do. If they win, great. It's a bonus. Paul winning his fight and winning well is all I give a fuck about. Liverpool or your F1 team? Liverpool or Red Bull? You have to pick one.
So here's I need to ask a follow-up question. Do you mean by F1 team, do you mean Max Verstappen wins, or do you mean Max Verstappen gets a good result, which is he loses by 3, 4 points? What do you mean? A straight win.
Straight win.
Liverpool.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, because first of all, like we literally like I need Max to lose by 7 points. If Max loses every race by 8 points, he still wins the championship. That's how far ahead he is. So like if we're talking about a Max Verstappen calamity, like if Max gets 0 points, let's say he crashes into the wall
Okay, yeah,
and Lando wins.
Okay, so you either get Liverpool winning and Max calamity, or Liverpool have to lose and Max gets away with it. What is it? Thanks for explaining that to me. It's higher odds now, more at stake.
Max gets away with it. I will still choose Liverpool. If we're talking about Liverpool wins and there's a Max calamity, or Liverpool loses and Max wins the race outright, at that point I'm probably choosing Max. Yeah.
All right, good
because we're at the top of the table as it is. I don't really care about the EPL that much. I like the reason why I care about this game against Chelsea is just because I want Liverpool to keep the momentum, and we're about to enter into a hard stretch of our schedule, and like 1 or 2 losses can just completely derail a team. So
up against you're going to be taking on City, you're going to be taking on Arsenal, Chelsea. I think Tottenham's in that. There's a Villa. There's a lot of big fucking Leverkusen, Leipzig, Real Madrid.
Real,
crazy. Yeah. This is nuts that it's happening so quickly in the season.
Yeah, so we basically need to just stay on track. We need some strategic ties, I think. You know, like we need some games where like it's 75 minutes in, it's 1-1, and Arne Slot's just like, okay, cool. You know, he looks like Carlo, and they're just like, okay. Because that's what happened with Klopp and Pep so many times. And I actually hated that. But like I'm pretty sure there were so many games where 75 minutes in, it's tied, and Klopp and Pep looked at each other and are just like, tie. You know, like we're done. I don't think I could handle Max DNFing and Lando winning. That would be too much for me. Because then it would get fucked. Then everything gets fucked. I hate Lando Norris so much. I'm trying to think of like an example for Lando Norris, but like he is just who's a good twatty footballer? Oh, Lando Norris is basically Mbappe. Like why am I looking for an explanation? Like he's somebody who has all the skills, has all the talent. He's now on a team that should bring him to a championship. He has the best car by a mile, and he's still bottling it race after race after race because he's a mental midget. He's a mental midget.
Mental little person. Get it
No, midget.
right.
I'm completely. I now say retard like regularly. I'm completely.
Stopped at all, actually, if I'm being honest. I,
What?
I haven't stopped. I didn't think that was an issue. I didn't think that was a non-starter issue for some reason, but I don't say it as much, but it comes out. If you do something like that, it's just,
Well, it can be offensive to people like VJ.
funny because he doesn't stop going on about Soldier Field and Michigan football. Like, I would love to catch a game. The 100,000 fucking seats, like, it's wild. I
Yeah.
fucking hate UConn basketball because of our other mutual friend, uh,
Who?
oh Chris. I hate fucking UConn basketball.
Oh,
He just shits on United, like, oh, support fair weather Liverpool fan, doesn't know the first fucking thing, just shits on me. I'm like, well, he doesn't really care for that many sports, but I was like, fuck UConn basketball.
well, Chris is an instigator.
Oh, he loves
Chris
it.
loves instigating. But so Chris didn't even go to UConn.
What?
Chris didn't go to UConn.
Why does he support the basketball team then?
I mean, he's from Connecticut. It's one of those things. But
Oh,
he didn't go to UConn. So
he didn't even care about the Pats. Like, the Patriots start being shit. He's like, I don't give a fuck about football. I was like, fuck's sake. Like, how do I get to you the way? Because he'll just randomly message me like, so United 13th, what's going on? You lot fucking shit. I'm like, you don't even know. You don't even care. At least
dude,
with you, like, you
Chris is
just
an instigator.
he
So
triggers me.
Chris trolls me about Lando Norris
There you
because
go. See,
I'll tweet shit about how Lando Norris is a little twat, and he'll come back at me, and I'm like, okay, who's your team? He's like, I don't have one. I'm like, exactly. That's
no
exactly
skin
who
in
you
the game.
are.
He's the kind of guy like, oh, what team you support? I support the ref. Like, no skin in the game whatsoever.
No, he supports riling you up. That's what Chris supports.
That's his thing.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other big football topics to cover? I mean, we're gonna have a big show next week.
Big show next week. Yeah, just last thing again, Paul Hughes fighting Saturday. It's going to be on the Zone, I believe. I don't know what other channels you guys might get in South America. Just plugging it in there. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Fireworks. First fight on the card. He's going to steal the show. Second round knockout.
Nice.
He's fighting a
All
tough
right.
bastard. Let's go, Paul Hughes on
Let's go, Paul Hughes, the better of the Pauls.
fire.